Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I am Siddharth Talawadekar. I lead the IoT business at Airtel, and very blessed to be in this August presence with all of you. I think there have been very interesting sessions over the last day and a half. And today, you must be wondering why, as a telecom service provider, we are here. But essentially, with the advent of the connected vehicle ecosystem, I think. As a telecom service provider, we are playing a great enabling role, right? And that's the topic today. I'm going to try and cover some of the things that we are doing with the ecosystem players and share those thoughts and ideas with you. Yeah, so just to give you a sense, today, Airtel's IoT business, we have an IoT platform where we are powering more than 16 million devices across a host of use cases, connected vehicles being one of them. We are into the fintech segment, we are into smart metering, power utilities, we are into the complete logistics play, right? So across all those use cases, the scale that we have achieved is 16 million, but this is just a starting point. I think we are talking about billions of devices getting connected, and this is just the beginning. We have around 8,000 customers with almost close to 50% market share. And you can see some of the names that I had the liberty to put out here. Obviously, there are many more, but some of the names that we have in this specific ecosystem, right? We are working with the four-wheeler OEMs, the two-wheeler EVs, the logistics players, and so on and so forth, the power companies as well. Yeah, this just gives you a sense of what we are doing for people who don't know, right? So if you look at the left-hand side, we are playing the role of enabling the ecosystem, which is the connectivity layer. So if you look at the EV ecosystem itself today, there is a huge range. The biggest the challenge for adoption is the anxiety, right? Do I really have the infra available? Do I have charging stations available? Is my battery going to die, right? Those are the questions that play out in the minds of consumers, right? And essentially, because of this, it's really crucial that all the infrastructure elements are connected at all points of time. And that's where, obviously, we come in as an industry, trying to enable it. So on the left-hand side, we are talking about the connectivity layer, where the SIM, which basically powers the connectivity in each of these vehicles, along with the platform to manage the complete life cycle. So we are building very, very specific solutions. We are addressing challenges of this industry. I'm going to talk about that in the future. And on the right-hand side, we are also playing in end-to-end solutions. So it's not only about connectivity. We also provide the IoT gateway, the sensors, and the platform for the use case, right? So for example, we have battery monitoring solutions. We have vehicle telematics solutions. There are solutions in asset tracking. There are solutions in industry automation as well. So as you're all aware, right, 5G is taking off in a very, very big way. It's going to drive a big industry revolution, and that's where we are going to obviously play a critical role. Yeah, so let me just talk about some of the challenges that at least we have seen through our engagements with our customers, right? So one is, as I mentioned, the range anxiety that I spoke about. You need to have real-time data availability at all points of time across the EV value chain, whether it's the vehicle itself, whether it's the battery within the vehicle, whether it's charging infra, charging stations as well. You need data at all points of time on a real-time basis, right? How do you make that available? That's one of the major challenges that we see, that we hear from our customers. Second is, with this new ecosystem evolving, I think there is a lot of evolving business models that are also coming up, right? Gone are the days when you're just selling a vehicle. You are essentially selling vehicle along with the platform, right? You have to stay connected. You're giving a lot of services on top of it. So the business model is not just sell it upfront and then charge them for service. You're bundling services and you're charging the customer for that. So how do you enable that entire ecosystem? Third important point for us, again, the predictability of communication. One is availability and access. Second is, what is the quality of service? What is the predictability of communication that is available, right? These are some of the challenges that we have seen when we talk to our customers. And now let me go into what we are doing to address this. So for the first point, when we talk about real-time data availability, now let me be honest, right? There will be network issues. We are all aware of that. That's the reality. You will never have a play where every single area, every single spot is completely covered using network, right? But how do you work around that? So what we've done is we've built something called as always-on connectivity, where even if it's a primary network being provided by Airtel, we are working with operators at the back end so that we have a secondary operator built into the same SIM. So even if the primary is not available, you have a fallback option. And you're talking to only one operator, right? So that's something that we call as always-on connectivity. It is using the state-of-the-art eSIM platform that we've invested in, which is compliant to global standards. And that's how we're trying to address this issue of, let's say, network dark spots. Second, I think robust mix of technologies as well. So 2G, 4G have been there. 5G is coming up in a very big way, right? We've already invested in deploying 5G network in 60 cities, and it's growing at a very rapid pace. We are aiming to cover entire India by end of March 2024. And that's going to bring up very interesting use cases. Use cases like smart manufacturing, very relevant to the EV ecosystem would be, in the future, how do you do ECU flashing on the air for a lot of vehicles in one shot, which needs extremely high throughput and low latency. That's something that will be enabled using this technology. In the future, it will be V2V, V2X as well. If you look at this ecosystem, it's not limited to the vehicle alone. How do you build in safety in the future? So that is where vehicle will be talking to other vehicles, vehicle will be talking to other infrastructure elements, and that's going to be powered by 5G, right? Another interesting example, we hear from a customer saying, today you have many charging stations being put up in basements. How do you, when a consumer is coming to charge the vehicle, if you don't have connectivity, you're losing the customer because he can't just access the charging station at all. How do you address that? So again, we've picked that up. There are technologies like NB-IoT which are coming up, right? Which enhances coverage in basements, shafts as well. And that's how we are trying to enable this ecosystem, right? Another example is SMS channel. So you must have seen instances where you see network, but data is not available. But you need vehicle data, you need to talk to the vehicle, you need location. You need to still communicate in case there is an emergency. There has to be a communication with the control center. SMS can be a fallback option for that, where you don't get data, but you still have a reliable source of communication coming in through this channel, right? So we have built some of these solutions on our platform, and we're trying to enable the entire ecosystem using this. This is another interesting one, right? Interesting charging model. So recently we were talking to one of the auto OEs. They said that, hey, when we sold the vehicles, we had bundled telematic service for a period of 3 years. What do we do after that, right? So our customer, right, we've been hearing this. The customer is very discerning. He understands what he wants. I think what we are trying to do here is we are working with the auto OEMs where we are trying to build a model where we give flexibility to our customers. So for example, at the end of 3 years, when the bundled service of telematics is done, the vehicle owner, the OEM still wants data from the vehicle, right? You have norms like AIS 156 and all coming in where you have to monitor the battery performance at all points of time, right? So you'll still need some basic data available. For that, the OEM is willing to pay. But then when you're giving additional services to customers, like maps, additional telematic services, you want the customer to choose, right? So here, what we're doing is we're building a model where we charge the OE for the data that they use, and we're trying to give the flexibility to customers. So if a customer is subscribing to a particular service, he's subscribing to the data pack and he pays us directly for that. Right? So a very flexible model, which can be enhanced and enabled for our consumers, right? Same thing goes for over-the-air updates. It's a software at the end of the day now. It's not just a vehicle, it's a software platform. So a lot of over-the-air updates, your consumption patterns vary, and we are trying to enable that using flexible models. The last part, quickly, is on the predictability of communication as well. So a lot of our customers say that, when I'm deploying a charging station or I'm planning my rollouts, I really need to know whether you're available or not. I don't want to face a situation where once I deploy, then I realize you're not available out there, and that can be a challenge. I mean, again, going back to the first point, there will be challenges, but what we're trying to do is we are exposing our entire network availability pan-India to our customers. It's an enterprise-grade tool that we have built on our platform. The customers have access. You can decide that, hey, if I want to put up a charging station out here, is there coverage available? I can get specific details at RSRP, RSRQ values to evaluate that and plan it accordingly. So we are trying to simplify the operations for customers. If we are not there, we are trying to share it transparently with you, right? And simplify your operations. That's just one example that we are doing on our IoT platform. This is just a snapshot of the tool for you to get a sense of how we are enabling it on the IoT hub that we call it. And lastly, I will summarize. I think I have 8 seconds. This is just one example that I thought I'll take where we are working with the leading EV OEM. This is just one example where The EV OEM has come to us not only for vehicle tracking and monitoring. They want to obviously monitor the battery. They want to monitor the charging station, and they have put up surveillance also at the charging station to basically monitor what's happening out there, right? So we are working with them to enable the entire ecosystem. Obviously, our connectivity that I've been talking about plays a role. In certain areas, we are also bringing in the device elements, the end user platform. So you want to know what is the battery performance, when it's going to die, what is the vehicle, when is the vehicle battery going to expire, and so on and so forth. All those data points can be captured using an IoT gateway and sensors and provided to our customers as a whole solution. So it's a mix and match that we do. We are open to talking to you folks, and we want to enable this industry as we go forward. Thank you so much.